Hi there, Lori Ellington with poly-coach.com. It's like I don't have any makeup on, but I've got my sunglasses just in case I need them. Let's see. Okay. So it's funny, I've already recorded 4 videos and I had an intention to start with one, and I've sort of gotten sidetracked with other things I wanted to talk about. So I think now I'm going to come to the original idea of why I wanted to record a video today. So I've been having a good time dating, like I said in a previous video. It's been really beautiful to be in my own space and to feel what my own space is like. And it's also been really interesting to be engaging in relating with men who are already in some form of open relationship with somebody else, with a woman. And sometimes they have multiple partners. So but I'm a newer person in the ecosystem of their world. And these are 2 separate couples that don't have any interaction with each other. And so it's been really interesting because, as I said in a previous video, I've been in a place in my life right now where I'm not like searching or seeking. I'm putting myself out there, and I'm attending like different events, and I'm on an app, and I'm just sort of engaging loosely. And I'm finding that people that are coming to me, if they're checking all the boxes, I'm like, okay, there's alignment, there's transparency, they're doing their relationship good. I know the woman that they're engaged with, like, this is great. Like, I'm like all for the next step. And I'm continuing to track like my choice, my yes, in like taking a next step with this person or with this situation. And it feels really good to be in a place where, like I said in a previous video, like taking urgency off the table and like keeping it in check too. Like if I'm sensing urgency on my part or on their part, it's like, hold on, and so I'm celebrating that the people that I'm engaging with are desiring slowness at the same rate that I'm desiring it. And I think that that's really important to track and to encourage, because in the slowness of any relating, especially if it's we're engaging in ethical non-monogamy, polyamory, swinging, like anything like that, in that slowness, then everybody, like myself, the man that I'm engaging with, and then his relationship with his partner or partners, like everyone has an opportunity to adjust and attune and acclimate and integrate and find the ground for the next step. Obviously, you need to be grounded before you take another step. And I think that that's something that is often missed when people are first starting out with open relating, is like they miss the slowness. Like there's a story that comes in of like, I don't want to be taking care of everybody else. Like I want to do what I want to do, or help, I need you to slow down a little bit because this is too much, too fast, too soon. And so then these 2 beings start to just clash. It's like, well, if we could just we could just all take a breath and just get on the same page and find the win of like, it actually is a really good idea to take urgency off the table, depending on what you want. And it actually is a really good idea to go slow for everyone to find their yes. It's not to say that we are like disempowering someone or enabling someone or just like, hanging out forever in the slowness. It's more like, hold on. Yeah, got it. You have a concern. I get it. Got it. I have a desire. Okay. Can they coexist? How do we find a place where they can coexist? Separate conversation. Happy to have that in a coaching session. So I went on I've gone on a couple of dates with 2 different guys, and they've been amazing. And because I have the awareness that they're in partnerships with other women, my role in this has been, and this has always been my role even when I was in a primary partnership and my partner was dating other women or something like that, I always had this like, well, I won't get into that, separate conversation. So yeah, like as someone who is the more single woman, right? Who in some ways can be seen as a threat to the woman in partnership. Like as someone who is entering into a connection with someone who already has another partner, what the place that I step into in my energetic field is one of, okay, like it's almost like I know my role going into it. Like I know my place going into it. Like I'm not going into this with like, we are all going to be equal and da 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 da. It's just more like, hold on, like I am doing my best to attune to and also trust that they are attuning to what they need to do. I'm not getting in the middle of their relating or their relationship or their processing or anything like that. But I am being super duper 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 mindful of like the quality of like, okay, got it. Like every step I take towards engaging with this person in a more intimate way, like what's the impact of the system? What's the impact of their relationship? What's the impact of the other woman? What's the impact of them individually and collectively? Like, whoa, like what's the impact? Good thing to consider before acting, right? It's like, okay, so I'm in this place of, knowing that, oh, I've got lots of caretaking parts that would be like, is everyone okay? And da-da-da-da. And it's like, I don't necessarily want to do that because that's not my job to take care of anyone except this and to take care of anyone's relationship unless they're paying me. So it's sort of like, and I don't really take care of relationships when people pay me to coach. I just help them navigate through what it is they need to look at. But it's sort of like entering into like an energetic frequency maybe of just like an energetic awareness, like an awareness of like, okay, got it. Like I, and where my position, I just want to be really, really clear with who I am and what I'm bringing, what I'm how I'm engaging in the field, and know that I'm checking, double checking, triple checking for any shadows or any leakages on my part. Because if I go in with any sort of shadow and leakage, it's not going to work. And so I'm going and I'm like, okay, I got it. I think I'm clear. Cool. I know my place. Great. I trust that they're going to be taking care of themselves. Awesome. And my feelers are out. Like my sensitivity is out. I'm like, okay, like, how are we doing? Okay, great. Like, is this, wow, we're going out on a second date. This is really, really fun. Let me engage in the energy of that while paying attention. I don't necessarily have to process all the time of like, well, how's your partner and what's coming up for your partner? And is this okay? It's more like, okay, like I'm going to just engage in a way that it's not necessarily 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but it's like I'm having my energy engaged in the present while having an awareness of like, okay, got it. Like, how is the system doing? How is the field doing? And then after I have a date with somebody, then usually, there's a opportunity to have a connection afterwards. And sometimes it's with the female partner and we have a little debrief or something like that. And sometimes it's with the person that I went on the date with. And sometimes I'll send a voice message to the person, like to the female partner. So it's just, the reason why I'm sharing this is that I think it's so important for anyone who is engaging with someone who's already in a relationship and you're like the new person, you're like the potential perceived threat. Like it's not that you are a threat, it's that somewhere in the psyche of that relationship or someone in that relationship might be like, whoa, new person, red alert, like what's going on? Do I need to, you just become a little more vigilant. Not a bad thing. It's actually great. And so that's where you pay attention and you just sort of like go slow. So yeah, like it's important for anyone, I think it's important for anyone who is starting to engage in relating with someone who's already in an existing ethically non-monogamous relationship, emphasize that, to go slow and to pay attention and to check in and be fluid with what is happening, be supportive, and really let go of your agendas. And if you sense that the partner that you're engaging with is having a really strong agenda to make something happen, like just, take urgency off the table always. So there's that. So, okay, back to my story. So I'm on a date with someone last night, and as he and I were going to this event, he was telling me about a conversation that he had with his other partner who has been out of town, and he and she haven't been connecting just because of life situations. And so she was the one experiencing the, oh man, like you're going out with Lori again? Like, isn't this soon? Like, this wasn't like, and like, I heard that because he was sharing this with me. I heard that and my heart was like, oh, honey, like, I get it. Yeah, like, fuck. Like, I feel like I felt her because I remember the times when I've been in her place of like, wait, hold on a second, new person. Like, I'm not feeling connected with you, my partner, and you're going out with someone else. And not only are you going out with someone else, but you just made like 2 dates in 1 week. Like, how is that possible? And so there's that, I was sensing like, wow, like I know what that's like to have that level of activation. And sure, she was fine. She's like, I'm totally fine, but I'm just having some feelings and I just need you to, know that I'm having some feelings. Don't change what you're doing, but I'm feeling it right now. And he was in a place of like, yeah, I get it. I got you. Don't worry. I'm going out on a date with Lori because this is what happened in terms of our calendars. And I wanted to communicate with you as soon as possible. And it just popped up. And yeah, like, so it's sort of like being in the spontaneity of saying yes to something that comes in while holding space, like somewhat taking care of, right? Caring for a person that might be impacted, that might not be engaging in the same level of activity. So he was sharing this with me and I was like, wow, yeah, I get it. Oh shit, like I know. And so I was able to tap in with like him from previous relating with other people. Like I was able to tap into his system and then able to tap in with her system. And then I was sitting with my system. I'm like, okay, got it. Well, totally makes sense. I totally understand this. And I was sharing this with him. I was like, yeah, I get where she's coming from. And, yeah, like I'm really excited to spend time with you and I want it to align with whatever it is that your relationship is with her. So I'm not here for any expectations. No equations need to be, completed tonight. I'm just here to have a good time and we're going to go to this event. And yeah, like I was totally open to whatever would happen, knowing that he was going to be in check with his boundaries and his agreements with his partner, and that I already knew what those were. So I was also kind of holding them so that, there would just be like another awareness of that. That's another really important thing, is like any time that I engage with somebody else who's already in a partnership, like know the agreements that they have with their partner, because those agreements are also my agreements for that partner. And that's a separate maybe coaching call or a separate video. So it was really interesting to be in the place of, okay, wow, like, yeah, I get it. Gosh, this relationship style is really, really complicated. And there's so many things like that are happening all at once and lots of different things to track. And oh God, like, what do I want to do with this? And rather than feeling constricted of like, oh, this means she's having feelings, therefore I can't do something, or, oh, this means da da da. It was more like, wow, like, yeah, like I felt the care and the compassion and the understanding and the desire to have it be a win-win for everybody. And so I asked him, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like, what would feel good? Like, what do you think would feel good for tonight, for you and our time together? And what do you think would feel good for her? Is there anything that I can do to support? And that was all I really needed to say. I didn't need to like go down any rabbit holes or put on my coaching hat and, figure anything out. It was just a simple question. Like, how can I support? Like, is there anything, how do we want the night to play out in a way where everybody feels like it's a win-win? So that was really cool. It was cool to be in the place of going out on a date. I was really excited. And also, tapping into like, wow, like what it's like to be that single person, almost perceived threat, and how to best be in my energy while respecting and attuning to something bigger, which is each of them individually and their relationship. And then also tapping into each of their roles and like experiences, and really wanting to honor that and welcome that as well, without trying to, manage or caretake too much. And again, like, I think that that's something that we often miss. I think there are many people out there who will skip over all of the checking in, will skip over all of the change of plans. And before you know it, people are going down these hellacious rabbit holes of, my partner didn't communicate with me everything that they were going to do, and now plans changed, and I'm la 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 la, and or I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and they're gone, and we already set our agreements, and and before you know it, it's like, it's just like conflict. And that happens all the time. So it's not bad. It's just requires a little more cleanup. And that's okay too. That's why I'm here. So if you find yourself resonating with anything that I've said and you want to have a deeper dive, you know how to reach me. Lori Ellington, poly-coach.com. That's poly-coach.com. These videos are very authentic. No makeup, no earrings. My website needs to be redone, and it will be done soon. Of course, if you see this in another couple of years, it probably will have already been done. But I just have a desire to share information, and sometimes it takes a lot of energy for me to, set everything up professionally to do it. I'm like, this is how I coach. I'm very authentic. If you have any questions, find me, Lori Ellington, poly-coach.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.